All right, so the 49ers and Jags are going to face off. Both teams are coming off a bye. The Jaguars are obviously on the 5-game winning streak, and the 49ers are on the 3-game losing streak. So is this the ultimate setup for a Nick was right situation with Purdy facing off versus Trevor Lawrence?
I mean, it feels like it, doesn't it? I mean, if after this weekend, and it's the biggest game of the weekend, this weekend's slate is not great at all. Last weekend had an amazing slate. This weekend's slate is not a group of great games. It's the marquee game. And if the Jags get to 7-2, while the Niners fall to 5-4, and it's because Trevor cooks and Purdy struggles, and all of a sudden, within a month, the same... You know what's going to be glorious if and when this happens? By the way, it's a tough game. Niners still an excellent team. They're coming off the bye. They should be healthier. This is a big test for the Jags. No team in the league this year has had a winning streak longer than 6 games. They're trying to get it to 6. They're trying to. What are they? Yeah, they're trying to get it to 6 games. That would be right. So listen, it's by no means is this like a layup win. The Niners are still a really good team, but nothing will be more satisfying for me than if the Jags win. Watching my same colleagues, some of which I host a show with, many of which, you know what I mean, are on other networks that I like and respect, having on Monday morning, a month after they were talking on their shows or on our show, is Brock Purdy the NFL's MVP? The topic will be, is Trevor Lawrence the NFL's MVP? And the follow-up question is, could Brock Purdy be benched? I'm letting you know right now, we are one Jags win away from that being a conversation. Now, I also want to make this clear. I do not think Trevor's the NFL MVP. I do think if they win this game and get to 7-2 in a year, there is no standout runaway MVP favorite, it will be a discussion. And I am not saying you should bench Brock Purdy for Sam Darnold, but I am saying if you're the Niners and
Lamar's
you've lost 4 in a row,
MVP, by the way, but
who is?
Sorry, Lamar Jackson. But I get it, like they do the whole.
Lamar right now. I think Lamar. If the voting were today, I think Lamar would win it. It would also be the reason for a quarterback who has 9 passing touchdowns through 9 games. You can say, running too. Okay, so 14 total touchdowns because he has 5 rushing through 9 games. That would be a below average MVP season. Does that make sense? Like if you look at guys who've won MVPs over the last few years, there's not an Aaron Rodgers with 38 touchdowns, 6 picks, Mahomes leading the league in points and yards and touchdowns. There isn't one no doubt candidate. You could make a great case for Lamar. I'm not arguing against it. We talked about on the show, because there's no standout candidate, could Joe Burrow get back in the conversation? Even though he was terrible for 5 weeks because he was hurt. The answer is probably yes. Like everyone's talked about how bad the Chiefs offense has been. Mahomes right now is the favorite to win the award because there's no standout. So that's why Trevor, despite his numbers, I think he has 8 passing touchdowns this year, maybe 9. His passing numbers have not been super gaudy, and he obviously doesn't run as well as Lamar. I do think with the Ravens, the biggest story of the Ravens season so far is, and I guess we'll get to it in a second, but is their defense more than Lamar, as good as Lamar's been? Point I'm making is if the Jags win, first of all, trumpeters live and in person on First Things First. Second of all, is Trevor Lawrence the NFL MVP will be a talking point, and should the Niners give Sam Darnold a look will be a talking point. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.